Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 237, Jaws, which is a drama-adventure thriller film from 1975. This has an 8.0 on 485,211 votes. The spoiler-free synopsis. When a young woman is killed by a shark while skinny dipping near the New England tourist town of Amity Island, Police Chief Martin Brody wants to close the beaches, but Mayor Larry Vaughn overrules him, fearing that the loss of tourist revenue will cripple the town. Ichthyologist Matt Hooper and grizzled ship captain Quint offer to help Brody capture the killer beast, and the trio engage in an epic battle of man versus nature.
Well, that pretty much sums that up. It does. I mean, besides, the end part, but... Yeah, it does. Alright, so this is directed by Steven Spielberg. It's actually one of his first big films. Mm-hmm. He directed all 4 Indiana Jones films, the first 2 Jurassic Park films, and Hook. Yep. Those are the ones I thought. Because he has directed a lot of films, so I just kind of picked and chose.
Yeah. When you got that many.
I know. And then our actors is Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. And again, this is also for Richard Dreyfuss. This is one of his first big films, too, actually.
Cool. So, Rotten Tomatoes, the average rating is a 9.2. It's 97% on 78 critical reviews, 76 fresh and 2 rotten. 2 of the fresh, Arthur Cooper, says Jaws is a grisly film often ugly as sin, which achieves precisely what it set out to accomplish. Scare the hell out of you.
Well, I think I've seen this more than a few times, so it doesn't really scare me that much anymore.
I think I know there's a few pools during the summer that do this as a movie on the water. Then I could understand it scaring the hell out of someone, because you're in the water watching this movie about a shark
who jumps out and kills people, even if they're on a boat or a raft or something. So
in that case, yes, I can see being scared, but it doesn't really scare me.
No. But
we watched some pretty gruesome and bad, scary horror films.
We're numbed down, I guess.
Yeah. I'm very numbed down. I grew up with them.
I know you are.
So, Gary Arnold says, I don't think there's a more exciting talent at working right now than Spielberg, an authentic movie-making prodigy, and perhaps his worst problem from June 20th, 1975 on will be preventing success from making a nervous or artistic wreck of him.
Okay.
So basically what he's saying is that Steven Spielberg can do no wrong.
Well, I mean, there's a few things I know he did wrong, but we're not going to go there, because that's my personal opinion, but... Watch Indiana Jones.
So the 2 rotten, the first one, is from Charles Champlin. He says, it is a coarse-grained and expletive work which depends on excess for its impact. Ashore, it's a bore, awkwardly staged and lumpily written.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, kind of. And then Kenneth Robinson says, to be fair to this film, I can't see why it should be. It is an improvement on Peter Benchley's book.
I wouldn't agree with that.
I would agree with that, but we'll get to the book later.
Yeah.
It's a critic's consensus. Compelling, well-crafted storytelling and judicious sense of terror ensure Steven Spielberg's Jaws has remained a benchmark in the art of delivering modern blockbuster thrills.
True.
Mm-hmm. So, the budget for this film was $7 million. The gross in the U.S. was $260 million. So they made their money back well.
Oh, easily.
Very well. The international was $210,653,000 for a total worldwide of $470,653,000. The opening weekend, they made back their money on a limited opening weekend release at $7,061,513. And then the all-time domestic rank is number 106. And the highest all-time rank was number 2, January 1st of 1982. So 7 years after it came out, it was number 2 on the list.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, it won 3 Oscars, has 11 other wins, and 18 nominations for other awards. The Academy Awards for the Oscars, it won Best Sound, Best Film Editing, and of course, Best Music for Original Dramatic Score by John Williams. Mm-hmm. It's one of his 5 Oscars that he has.
The man's been nominated I don't know how many
70 something.
It's a lot.
I have that later in the music section. Where I copy and pasted it from Harry Potter because it's the same information.
That makes sense.
So the Golden Globes, once again, Best Original Score for a Motion Picture from John Williams. The BAFTA Awards, it won the Anthony Asquith,
I think so,
award for film music. John Williams. Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. It won Best Advertising, Outstanding Film of 1975. The American Cinema Editors, Best Edited Feature Film. Golden Screen in Germany, just won a Golden Screen. Grammy Awards, John Williams once again won. Album of Best Original Score written for a motion picture or television special. The Guinness World Record Award.
This is on my trivia too.
First summer blockbuster film.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg won that. He has that Guinness World Record.
It's true.
It is in the National Film Registry, which is Film Preservation Board.
And they only select a handful of films each year. Yeah. So, that's really good.
It won that in 2001, so it took a while for it to win.
Usually does.
Online Film and Television Association. It's in the Hall of Fame for its motion picture. People's Choice Awards, Favorite Motion Picture.
Yeah.
Those are its 11 wins. And your initial thoughts, if you can remember.
If I remember watching this the first time, I remember the first time I watched this, the shark did scare the crap out of me. But as I've been watching it, I've watched it several times, and I've always liked watching it. It's a nice little thriller, man tackling against, this huge shark.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Kind of grew interested in, sharks and how they are.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've always liked this film.
Yeah, I've always liked it. I don't think it ever really scared me. It made me it made me become fascinated with Megalodon. But,
there's a movie coming out, too.
Yeah, I don't know how good that's gonna be. But, yeah. I've always liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my favorite. No. And I don't watch it all the time, but if it's on, I will watch it.
It was just on for Shark Week, too.
Yeah. Well, it's Jaws.
Of course. Of course it was. You gotta show Jaws during Shark Week. I mean, come on.
True. So, I think that's it for our initial thoughts.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
That was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening and come back here after you've watched it.
Which is kind of surprising if you haven't watched this yet.
It's
on during Shark Week, people.
Yeah.
Come on. Which is every year.
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, start off in the ocean.
Oh, yeah. You hear that theme right away.
Yeah.
You hear that Jaws theme, it's yes.
Yep. And you're at the point of view of the shark at this point. You're just swimming. Then you are on the beach, at a college party on the beach. Basically having a bonfire, drinking beer.
Drinking and smoking.
Yep.
Smoking whatever they want to. We're not saying what.
Then these two kids, I'm going to call them kids.
Just call them kids,
at this point they are kids, decide to go skinny dipping. The girl goes in first, and the guy is, like, taking off his clothes and falls asleep on the beach.
Yeah, like, really? Does it take that much effort to take off clothes?
Yeah, sometimes.
You're honest. I'm proud of that.
It does. So, then you hear that awesome theme again.
Oh, yeah.
And the girl is attacked. You don't really see by what.
No, she just gets, like, thrown around, and, like, she gets, like, pulled down, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
As you know, there's some nice scene of her, you know, like, naked, but...
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
I'm just saying.
The next thing you see is this man and woman at their house, and the man gets a call.
Yep.
And we don't really hear the call, and so he leaves. And you see him walking on the beach with the guy who fell asleep on the beach.
Yeah, because, like, she's missing. I don't know where she went. Maybe she drowned or something.
Yeah. Then they find the body, because his deputy is whistling, blowing the whistle. His rape whistle. He's blowing it real loud. He's like, come here!
Yeah, they find this girl's body, and, like, I see, like...
It's, like, half of the body.
Half the body. Like, her arm is, like, kind of, like...
her hand's sticking up.
Sticking out. I'm like, okay.
And...
Pretty gross.
The chief wants to close the beaches. He tells his deputy, we need to get the beaches closed sign. And the deputy's like, we don't have any of those.
He's like, well, then he goes, like, to the store and has to get, like, paint and brushes and, like, signs. I'm like, well, okay.
And the town selectman and mayor find him because the chief is going to the beach to stop these boys from swimming because they're doing their Boy Scout mile.
Yeah.
And so he's on the ferry going out there, and the selectmen pull up in a car on the ferry and are talking to him. They're like, you can't close the beaches. This could be a boating accident. You don't know. This has never happened before. So there's no point in closing the beaches. And he gets mad but says, okay, fine. And we also learn that this is his first summer as the chief of police there.
Yes, he's like, this is your first summer.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. Yeah. Chief Brody, that's his name.
Yep. So they leave the kids doing their mile, and then they've got all kinds of people on the beach. There's people out playing in the water. There's a guy playing with his dog. There's a couple out there playing around in the water, and Chief Brody is, because you learn his name is Brody.
Yes.
He, like, literally everything he sees, he's suspicious that it's the shark, because he's dead set on it being a shark.
Yes.
And kids start screaming. He thinks it's a shark, and he doesn't want his kids to go in the water. So his wife just tells his kids to kind of play in the waves, like right in the wake. His youngest son is just playing in the sand. His older son is playing right in the wake near his little brother. Or older brother. Little brother. Yep. His
There's
brother.
2 boys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's confusing because in the book there's more.
In the book there's 3 boys, but...
So, then this guy who was playing with the dog is, like, calling for the dog.
He's like, where's my dog?
He's, like, calling him. And then all of a sudden you see this boy that went out on a little floaty.
Because, yes, his mom is like, she's like, well, you've been swimming enough, so you can just go out on your little raft.
Yeah. And the shark, you actually kind of see the shark now. He attacks the boy. He pretty much eats him whole.
Yeah, that was some crazy stuff. I was like, cool.
And this time, people actually see it. They see the fins. And they're all like, oh, what was that? And they're all screaming and pulling the kids out of the water. And then you see the stick floating that the dog was playing with.
Because the dog got eaten by the shark.
They don't show it, which is good.
They don't show it, which is good, because I would be really sad.
Yep.
Like, I'm more sad about the dog than the kid, which is kind of weird, but... So, animal lover here.
Yes.
Even though I'm a teacher, that's kind of weird.
So the mom is freaking out because she can't find her son.
Yes.
And
The raft.
she sees the raft float up and there's holes in it.
And it's all bloody. It's like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So then they go to the town hall.
We have a meeting about the
and
shark.
She has put out a $3,000 bounty on the shark. Whoever can find it and kill it will get the $3,000 bounty. So they're talking about it, and then nails on chalkboard.
Nails on chalkboard. I'm like, that's such a famous scene.
It's such an annoying sound.
It is so painful. Oh, that's this awful sound. She scratches, like it's like this old like fisherman guy scratching on the chalkboard to get attention. He's talking about, oh, I'll catch the shark for you for a price.
$10,000.
$10,000. I'm like, well,
because he knows how hard it is to catch that type of a shark.
yes.
Because he's pretty sure he knows what it is. He knows how big it is. He's like, y'all ain't catching that shark.
Exactly. I mean, learn his name is Quint.
Yep.
Because they address him as Mr. Quint.
Yep.
So,
And then you see Brody reading about sharks.
yeah.
Just looking at all these pictures and
Reading
shark
about
books and
sharks.
stuff.
Like, oh, okay.
Then
The two guys. On the
Oh, yeah.
roast. That
They're-
was stupid.
they're out rowing in the evening, and they find a pier,
Mm-hmm.
and the one guy says, "This is my wife's roast, she'll be pissed." He's like, well, when we get that $3,000, it won't matter, you can buy a bunch of roasts.
Yeah.
So they hook the roast to this big, huge hook,
And
tied,
some chain.
yeah, tied to a chain, tied to a tire, so that's the flotation device, so you can tell. It's like the bobber when you go fishing.
Yeah.
And they throw it out off the pier, and they're just kind of sitting there not paying any attention whatsoever.
Nope.
And the shark comes, and he's like pulling at it, making sure that they're not going to pull it up as soon as he touches it. And then he just goes,
He just rips it.
and the pier falls into the water.
Yeah, one of the guys falls in. He's like freaking out. The shark's gonna get him.
Yeah, and you still don't quite see the full shark yet.
No.
You just see the pier being pulled as the shark is still pulling the roast after this guy.
Yeah, he gets back in time though.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
does.
Fine.
He doesn't get eaten.
No.
Then the next scene, you got tons of people out on the piers, getting their boats ready, arguing about all kinds of stuff, because they're all going to go out and they're going to catch this killer shark.
Yes. Because of the money.
Yep, because $3,000. And Hooper,
Yes.
Dr. Hooper, well, I don't know if he's actually a doctor. I don't think he's gotten his doctorate yet. They don't say.
It doesn't say in the book either.
But he's an ichthyologist, which is a fish specialist, oceanographer, fish specialist. He is out there trying to get Brody's attention. Then he finally gets Brody's attention, and he requests to see the girl after he has introduced himself. He's like trying not to throw up as he's doing his examination.
He's like, can I get some water?
And then he's like, this girl was not run over by a boat.
His was a shark.
Yeah. And then you hear about these guys, like all the fishermen that were out. They think they caught the right shark.
Yeah. It's not the right shark though.
It's
No.
a tiger shark.
Tiger shark.
And Hooper says that the bite radius is not big enough, so his mouth wasn't big enough to cause the wounds on the girl or eat the boy whole.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, sharks, their digestive system's really slow, so you can still find what's in their stomachs.
Yep. For 24 hours, he said.
Yeah.
So he wants to cut the shark open to see if the boy's in there, but Brody is like, we can't do that when his mother's right here.
Yeah, and his mother was right there, and she slaps Brody. She's
'Cause-
like, she's learned that there was someone else killed before her son.
Yep, and that he didn't close the beaches when he should have.
And I was pretty mean about this. She's like dressed in like all black. She's got a black veil over her face, black hat and everything. I'm like, well, okay, I understand that your child's died and everything, but a little dramatic.
I have a feeling that she has just come from the funeral or the memorial, and that's why she is dressed up like that. That's the only explanation that I could think of why she's dressed like that.
She seems dramatic to me.
I mean, it's the 70s.
And she has a sign up for $3,000.
Yep.
So, just saying.
So Hooper tells them that they didn't catch the right shark. He says there's no way that this shark ate that boy or that lady.
Yep.
So him and Brody go cut open the shark. And you got 3 fish, a can,
like a license plate
from Louisiana, showing that that shark came from warmer waters.
Yeah.
Came
the
from
Gulf.
Yeah, came from the Gulf, which is very possible. There's tiger sharks down there.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide that they're going to go looking for the shark.
Because at nighttime, because, smart, right?
He's like, that's when they go hunting. So they're out on Hooper's boat looking for the shark, and it's all fancy, got all kinds of fancy...
Yeah, and he's like, well, who got you... Yeah, who paid for all this? He's like, I did.
He's like, you're one of them rich ones, aren't you? They find an abandoned boat, and they're like, hey, I know... Brody's like, hey, I know this boat. This is so-and-so's boat.
Ben Gardner's.
There you go. I didn't write it down. And so
I remember
Hooper...
it from the book.
I'm bad at names. Hooper goes down there, and he checks the hole, and he finds a head.
Yeah, and it's got like an eye missing, too.
Yeah.
And he finds a shark tooth, too.
Yeah. So they tell the mayor about the shark, saying that they didn't catch the shark, you need to close the beaches.
And he wants proof.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have a tooth the size of a something or another, like huge shark tooth, and there's a boat out there to prove it. If you want to see, go for it.
Yeah, but then Hooper says he dropped it.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh. I'm like, well, I can see why, dead body floating right at you. Kind of forget everything else there for a sec.
Yep. So then everyone's out looking out for the shark again.
Beaches are open still.
The beaches are still open. But nobody's really going swimming yet. Because there's
Not yet.
Like, I guess maybe like 100 yards out, all the boats are out there, like all the Army and the Coast Guard. They're keeping an eye out, make sure. So people decide to go start swimming.
Yeah.
And Brody tells his boys, don't swim in the bay, go swim in the lake. Which is...
Well, pond, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing, whatever.
Pond. Did he say... Yeah, he did say pond. Which is basically still the ocean.
Yeah.
But it's just a landlocked section. I don't remember what that is exactly called. But they have a pier going across, and that's just like a landlocked section.
Yeah.
The shark can still get in there. Because there's just a pier going from one side to the other.
Exactly, because, that's safer.
But so he tells his boys to go over there. His youngest boy is, once again, not in the water. He's playing on the beach. But his older boy is on his little boat with his 3 friends.
Yeah.
And so all the people are swimming in the bay. And they see a fin. And they all start freaking out.
Because they slip out.
I think it's the shark.
I literally put beach frenzy. It's crazy.
So everybody's off the beach and they're looking, and the Coast Guard come up, and these 2 boys come up out of the water from under the shark fin, and the one's like, he made me do it!
Of course, blame the other one. You're involved too.
Yep. And then all of a sudden you hear this girl screaming bloody murder, pretty much.
Yeah, there's a shark.
Shark is in the pond. Shark is in the pond. She continuously screams it over and over. So everybody runs over there. And this is where you get a pretty good view of the shark.
Yeah, this is a good view of him.
He's coming up and he attacks. There's not just Brody's son.
There's another
boat with a man in it.
Yeah.
And the man gets eaten by the shark.
Yeah, like his boat gets flipped over and he gets eaten.
Yep.
And you see part of a leg just float down.
Yeah.
I'm like, nice.
Some good makeup there.
That was.
A good prop work. So they decide to hire Quint to take down this shark. Like, I don't care. Brody's telling the mayor, I don't care. You're gonna sign this paper. We're gonna kill this shark.
It's like, it's been enough. Come on. You're just in complete and utter denial at this point.
It's because I think he just was pushed so far because it was his son that almost died. And Mayor Vaughn is like, well, my kids were in that water too.
He's like, but my kid was almost eaten.
Yeah.
So,
like, his kid was like right there next to the shark. His kid was in the hospital because he went into shock because the shark was right there.
It's like, you shush and sign this.
Yes. So they go fishing.
Yeah, it's Quint, Hooper and Brody.
Yep. And this is basically Act 3. This is the end.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's just a bunch of... There's that's literally, my bottom part is the last part of the film.
Yeah. Mine's right here.
Chunk.
So, they're out there. Brody's throwing chum, which is just a bunch of dead fish.
Chopped up fish, yeah.
With blood in it, so that way it attracts the shark. He's throwing it out there, and the shark comes up, mouth open, and Brody backs up, freaks out.
Freaking. It's like, oh my god, there's a shark right there.
And we get the famous line, "We're gonna need a bigger boat," because he sees how big that shark is.
Yeah,
and
big shark.
We're notified that it is 20 feet.
20 feet.
It is a big shark. I think most great whites get about 14, 16 feet is what I've read somewhere. So they are trying to slow him down, but he's a big shark, so they tie a barrel, like a plastic barrel.
Something like, yeah.
To a harpoon.
Oh yeah, a harpoon, they tie it, so then, Quint shoots this it's like a harpoon gun.
Yeah.
And he actually strikes right on top.
He does get the barrel on him. And then somehow then the shark gets away, because one barrel's not going to hold him down.
No, he just goes under.
He's that big of a shark, it's not going to hold him.
No.
Hold him up, really. So they're in the boat, middle of the night, showing off their scars, sharing their stories about their scars.
And Quint tells his USS Indianapolis story.
Basically World War II, what happened to his ship after
Japan.
Yeah. After the bomb.
And that was 2 Japanese submarine?
2 torpedoes.
Torpedoes, yeah. They shot the USS Indianapolis, and it was, it sank and everything, and all these men are in the water, and, for sharks, that's pretty much like a feeding frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of sharks just ate, it was a big number of people.
Yeah. He said that there was 3,000 people on the ship, and only 200 to 300 survived or something like that.
It's quite a bit eaten.
Yep. So you continuously see them kind of fighting off the shark, trying to get the barrels in him, because the shark did manage to get one barrel off.
Yeah.
And then
they literally got couple of harpoons and
they got 3 barrels tied to them at one point.
Yeah.
So Hooper goes down in the shark cage because he's got this shark stick where you if you stick him in the mouth, it can
stick him in some right place on the shark. It will
give him morphine or whatever.
Do something to the shark. I don't remember.
I think it's some kind of tranquilizer or something. I don't know.
That makes sense.
So he's down there, and the shark attacks the cage.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
It's you're pretty much bait.
Yeah. He somehow manages to get out, though, and hides behind a coral reef.
Yeah, and the shark somehow got caught on top of the cage.
Yeah.
And they're trying to pull up the cage, Quint and Brody, and they're like, this is really heavy, because there's a shark on top of it.
Yeah. The probably 4-ton shark sitting on top
At least.
Of it. So then the shark jumps on the ship.
Yeah. And the ship's just slowly just sinking in.
Mm-hmm.
Quint just gets pulled because there's
I think he gets a rope tied around his ankle or something.
Yeah. And he gets dragged.
He gets eaten.
It's a pretty bloody scene,
actually.
It's
pretty gruesome.
I was like, huh. I felt like I said this to Kat after watching. I'm you're just playing with your food at this point. Just finish him off.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job with that scene, though, with all the gruesome blood.
It's pretty good.
The boat is sinking, and Brody somehow manages to shove an oxygen tank into the shark's mouth.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's
impressive. Why the shark doesn't just swallow it, because that oxygen tank is smaller than the kid that he just swallowed.
Yeah, it was caught in some weird place. That's weird.
It is caught. It was caught in the side of his mouth, but before you see it caught in the side of his mouth, it's down in the back of his throat.
I know. So that was some continuity.
Yeah, that was some issue.
Goof up there.
We do have a little bit of another one that I want to talk about before we're done.
Okay.
That I also noticed.
Okay.
So then Brody shoots the...
Well, he stabs him before.
Yeah, he does stab him like
As
7
the boat's
times.
sinking, and he's trying to hang on, and he's attacking the shark with like a harpoon, just tacking him.
Yeah.
And
then he shoots the oxygen tank, and kaboom! Blood and shark guts everywhere.
Yeah,
And then you
kills
see
the shark.
the shark sinking.
Yeah, it's like there's no head, but he's sinking.
Yep. Because sharks, I learned this from the book. Sharks don't have a floater.
They don't have a flotation
bladder, I think is what
Yeah.
it's called. So they don't float when they die. They sink when they die.
That's why they continuously have to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
We learned something.
Yes. This book did teach us a couple things.
A couple.
And then you find out Hooper is still alive.
He just pops up, like, boop.
Yep, and then they use the barrels to swim to shore.
Yeah, like a flotation thing.
Yep. One thing that I did notice in that last sequence is some of the harpoons that they shot in some scenes they're there, some scenes they're not. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like,
There's a little bit of editing there, too.
I understand it's 1975. You don't have that big of a budget for this movie, but that is one thing. I mean, other than that and the oxygen tank in the mouth, those things were good. Like, those were the only two things that I really noticed.
Yeah, with Mythbusters actually did an entire episode about Jaws.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Well, because they used when they were first doing, like, the rod and everything, and, like, had the cast out, they used piano wire, and that doesn't really work. Then with I know they did another one about the air tank, how if you shoot it would, like, explode like that.
Yeah, I say I know that one's not true.
No, and then, what was the other one? I can't remember, but there's an entire Mythbusters episode about Jaws, so
Yep.
I've seen it. It's actually a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I think I have seen that one before, because I remember them doing the tank. So,
I remember now what it was. It was the shark cage. That a shark that size could actually, rip open the cage just like that.
How would they have done that? Never mind, we won't talk about that. I'll have to watch that episode.
Yeah, because you know how the shark rammed into it several times. That's
a 4-ton, if not bigger shark, but that's okay.
Well, it broke that cage pretty easily.
Yeah. So they did prove that one was right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, once again, we have John Williams.
My birthday twin!
This is one of our most famous composers on the list.
Yeah.
He's known for Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and Jurassic World, Indiana Jones, and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
This is literally, if you listen to the Harry Potter episode, this is the same facts from that, because there's nothing new to add. So, his first ever credited film was Not With My Wife You Don't from 1966, and he was credited as a conductor, but he got his start on Carousel in 1956 as an additional orchestrator.
Yeah, because, music's already written.
Yeah.
Because Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah. But orchestrating, he pretty much just made it work for the film, is basically what it was.
He's a pretty good
orchestrator that was already there.
He's a good orchestrator.
Yeah.
He is.
And he has won 5 Oscars, one of them being for this film, and 119 other awards, which I am not going to list. I'm just going to say his Oscars. His first one was Fiddler on the Roof. He won in 1972 for Best Music Scoring Adaptation and Original Song Score. And then for this film, of course, 1976, Best Music and Original Dramatic Score. In 1978, he won for Star Wars, Best Music Original Score. In 1983, he won for E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Best Music Original Score. In 1994, he won for Schindler's List, Best Music Original Score.
Yeah.
And
those are all
those
really
are
good.
just his Oscars.
Those are really good musical scores, too.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I mean, like, the Jaws theme is one of the most famous themes.
Yeah. If you don't know the Jaws theme.
It's literally 2 notes.
Yeah. So, comparison. We read the book for this.
We did. We found the book. It was a pretty quick read.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick read. We did not, because we read the book, we did not watch 2 and 3.
No.
I mean, I have seen them before. I don't remember.
The ratings drop like that.
I know they're not really good.
No.
But I have seen it before. So the book, one major difference is Brody has been the police chief for a long time, and he has always lived on the island.
He's lived there. His wife is the one who is from, like,
New York or something.
She met him when he was working.
In the summer.
Because her family used to come every summer.
Yep, and she used to date Matt Hooper's older
brother, David, if I remember correctly. There's this in the book, I will mention this, we were speaking about Hooper.
Yeah.
So, Brody's wife, her name's Ellen, and Matt had an affair in the book.
Which is, I think it was very unnecessary.
Well, there's also, in the book, there's also some, mob mentioned, too.
Yeah, there's also,
there's
Mayor
that.
Vaughn is under the thumb of the New York mob.
Yes.
Of one of the families in the mob.
With the characters, like, when I was, like, watching this again, after I had not seen it for a while and I'd read the book, some of the characters were different to me, how I pictured them.
Like, I just already had the picture in my mind because I'd seen it so many times, I didn't change what I thought.
It did, with me, because, especially with Matt Hooper, I thought he would, no offense to Richard Dreyfuss, I love him as an actor, but as in the book, I did not imagine him with, like, a beard.
Yeah, I guess
I imagine him, no offense, but a bit taller, a little more muscular.
Yeah, younger.
Well, actually, in
that character...
He actually, in the book, he's and Richard Dreyfuss in the film are about the same age.
I just imagine him being, like, about our age. Which in the movie, he didn't really seem about our age.
No. Richard Dreyfuss actually is, like, in his late 20s in the film.
Mm.
Yeah, there's that.
I guess that is the only character that I imagined differently than...
I imagined Brody just a little bit taller, not as muscular, but still muscular.
Mm.
Quint, that one was pretty close.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah. In the book, it's funny, the author of the book was kicked out of the when they were filming this because he objected to the climax of the film. Because in the book, Hooper gets eaten by the shark.
Yes.
Also.
Yeah, he's down in the cage.
And the shark
gets trapped in the cage.
And the shark gets him.
Yeah, that's another big difference.
There is.
I did not like the book.
And I did.
I really love the movie. Like, I really, like, it's one of these movies that I will watch again. If it's on, I'll watch it. But the book, I probably won't ever read it again. I didn't really like it. I thought it was extremely boring. There was parts that were unnecessary. And the only part that was interesting were the last two chapters. When they were...
Last two chapters? I wouldn't say the last two chapters, but this is my opinion. I would say... I do agree with some of the parts being, like, kind of unnecessary, kind of slow. But I would say the last part...
So the last 4 chapters.
The last part, yeah, part 3, I think, was, like, the best page-turner.
Well, I read it at, like, 4 o'clock in the morning, so...
That's why. I read mine in the evening. So I was fully awake and functional.
Well, I was fully awake, but... I just didn't really think it was very interesting. Literally, the last 2 chapters was all I thought was interesting.
I did like the end of the book.
Yeah, the end was good, but I didn't like the rest of it.
Yeah, I get you on that. Again, I'd probably read it again. I know Kat won't.
No. I've got plenty of other books to reread.
That's true. There's always Harry Potter to reread.
Yeah, and I didn't... We both got this from the library. We didn't purchase it.
No.
We just got it from the library.
Which I'm surprised is at the library, but...
Yeah, I'm surprised. So, trivia. I do have one.
Go.
My trivia is, there is a shooting star near the very end of the scene. In the scene, you can see Brody loading his gun, and Hooper up near the steering wheel thing, up there, and the shooting star kind of goes back behind him. And this is the first shooting star in any of Steven Spielberg's movies, and it was not on purpose, like, it was just natural. It just happened, and it sparked his other shooting stars in all of his other movies that he's done them in.
He thought it was a cool effect.
Yeah.
I agree. It was pretty cool.
Because I looked it up, I thought it maybe had some kind of meaning,
No.
But no, it was just natural. It just happened. But after that, it does have a meaning. It's just his signature.
There we go. Much. So we know Steven Spielberg's signature is a shooting star.
Yeah.
Alright, so we did mention this earlier that it's credited as the first summer blockbuster.
Yep.
And it made film history as the first film to gross more than $100 million.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of trivia for this, so I had to narrow it down. To some that I thought were cool. So we said John Williams won the Oscar for this.
Yep.
And at the Academy Awards ceremony, he was actually conducting the orchestra.
That's awesome.
And when he heard that he won, he had to stop conducting to get his award, then go back and conduct.
So he was working.
He was working, and he had to go get his award. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. So the shark, Spielberg says, named after his lawyer, Spruce. Which I thought was pretty funny.
Which is also the name of the great white in Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be an homage to Jaws.
Just a little bit. So there was 3 mechanical bruises sharks made.
Well, they had so many issues with Bruce.
Yes, I'm getting to that. So there's 3 of them made. One where it opens on its right side, one that opens on its left side, and then one that's fully skinned and everything. And each one cost $250,000.
That's actually not that bad.
No, they made that all back though.
Yeah.
I will say then, speaking about the sharks they're having problems with,
yeah.
I mean, they worked fine in non-salt water.
Yeah.
They were tested in non-salt water, but once it hit that ocean, it had problems because the salt wreaked havoc on the controls.
Yeah.
That's a pretty common. That's why you don't see the shark very often.
You see that, they talk about that in Steven Spielberg's documentary, The Making of Jaws.
Yes, there's a whole documentary about this.
Yeah, which I can understand why, because it's such a great movie, and it's such a iconic movie, and it did a lot for filmmaking.
It did a lot. I mean, this is good. Like how I mentioned with the Summer Blockbuster, most films back then, if they didn't thought they weren't going to do well or they were just utter crap, they stuck them in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since they put Jaws in the summer, it was supposed to be around Christmas, but filming took too long. So they put it in the summer, and people actually wanted to go see it. So Summer Blockbuster.
We get quite a few Marvel movies in the summer.
A lot of big action. That's where you get the Blockbuster from.
Thanks to Jaws.
All thanks to Jaws. I got one more.
Okay.
So, a lot of the film was shot by handheld cameras.
So like the Paranormal Activity cameras?
A little bit. It's just to give the effect, especially when they're out on the ocean.
Well, yeah, because those cameras, especially back then, they were pretty big. It was hard to get them out on those boats.
And Spielberg made the joke that this is the most expensive handheld camera movie ever. Which, I mean, he's about right. I mean, it cost $7 million to make?
Yeah, $7 million was their budget.
Made it all back.
Yeah.
So they're fine. Yeah. There's a lot of trivia. So
yeah,
I've narrowed it down.
I've seen the documentary, The Making of Jaws, because that's how I knew they were having issues with the shark.
No, I knew about
the one thing that I think is really funny is that animatronic shark is better than the animatronic snake in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
I will defend Chamber till the end.
I think the shark is better than the snake.
You do know it's a mechanical shark. You do notice that in the film. I will say that.
One thing I'm curious about is there's times in there where it looks like they took stuff from real footage of sharks.
They did.
Because there's some of it that does not look animatronic. When he's attacking, it for sure looks animatronic. But when he's in the water swimming, not coming up for anything, that looks like a real shark.
I will say that in extra trivia, they did actually use some footage.
That's what I was thinking, because I was like, that looks way too real to be a fake shark.
Yeah, some scenes they actually did use, some older footage of sharks.
Probably like a 12-foot shark or something.
Something like that.
I mean, nobody's going to measure it on the TV. So.
Yeah, I'm like...
look, it's a 12-foot shark.
This is a really big
figures. Yeah, it's 12 feet long. I'm pretty sure. So, where it has been on the list before and now, in 2010, it was number 114. In 2012, it was number 141. In 2014, it was number 205. In 2016, it was 236. And at the moment, it is still number 237.
Huh.
So,
it's staying where it's at.
It's rocking it right now.
Okay. It's a decent spot for it. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot. I don't think that it really belongs up in the hundreds. I like it, but I don't think it belongs up there.
I agree.
So previously, number 237, in 2010, In the Mood for Love, which was our movie from last week.
Yeah.
2012, Manhattan from 1979. The 2014 list, one of my favorite movies, Jurassic Park from 1993.
Another Spielberg film.
Yeah. He's got quite a few on the list.
I know.
2016, La Haine from 1995.
Which is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think maybe like 5-10 movies, somewhere in there.
Yep, it's coming up soon.
And, of course, Jaws is still at number 237.
Doo-doo.
And favorite line. Of course, we have the "We're gonna need a bigger boat." That's the most famous line from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was hard to grasp a lot of quotes. I have one, because it was when Brody's talking, like looking up about things about sharks. His wife comes and she hands him a drink, and she sits between his legs and looks up at him and says, "Wants to get drunk and fool around." I'm like, well, I'd probably say that to my boyfriend too, so that's why it got stuck with me.
I've got a couple. So the little boy, before the kid on the little thing is attacked, or like right after he's attacked, Brody's youngest son is playing in the sand, and he's like, "You gotta get out of the water." It's like you can't really even hear him. You can like barely hear him say that.
We both looked at each other. We started laughing.
The mayor, when they're talking about closing the beaches, the mayor says they're going to close them for 24 hours, and I heard somebody say 24 hours is like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I thought that was funny. And then when you first meet Hooper, there's like 8 people trying to fit into this little fishing boat, and he just like shakes his head and walks away. He goes, "They're all going to die." And then another Hooper line. They're about to go, him and Brody are about to go looking for the shark after they cut open the tiger shark. And he's like, "Well, if you're looking for a shark, we're not going to find it on the land." I thought that was funny. And then I have just "We're going to need a bigger boat" as my last one.
Yeah. I got, you pick it this time. They're all good lines.
I like the, "They're all going to die."
I like it. It's fitting.
I mean, a lot of people die in this movie.
Yeah. It's very true. I mean, shark just comes up and eats everybody.
Alright, so what is your rating?
Alright, so I gave it a 7.
Me too.
A solid 7. I'm like, it's good, but again, I've seen films much better, but this is not like the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'd give it a solid 7.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 too. I'll put mine in. And next time is 8.5 from 1963, and it is in Italian.
Yes, Italian.
So we are still running our contest. In a couple weeks, we're going to have our guest Mr. Ironwood on for Dead Poets Society. That is one of his favorite movies, so he's going to be joining us for that one because he won our contest. He was the first winner of our contest. So the rest of our contest that we are still running, one person out of every 10 that leaves a positive written review will be selected randomly via a random number generator to join us for a movie of their choice. And make sure you email or message us a screenshot of that so we can see it, because I get the email and messages to my phone. I don't check the ratings on my phone. I can't, so I check those about once a week. And be sure to leave us a rating so we know how we're doing.
Yes, it helps us, because
yes,
We're just sitting here talking about films. We don't know if we're, like, doing it correctly, if we need to change some things. So please leave a review.
Yes.
But be nice about it, please. We still have feelings.
Yes, we do. Alright, so where to find us?
Alright, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Cat and Jess Talk the Best. Our email is catandjesstalkthebest250@gmail. Our website is catandjesstalkthebest.podbean.com.
And you can find the show pretty much everywhere now. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify. If you want to find every single episode, because I don't know how many episodes stay on all of those, but every single episode will always be on Podbean on the website. And our opening music is by Audiobinger. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. And also, keep in mind, about 3 months away is our Halloween episode. We're picking 2 movies each that we love to watch, and we're going to talk about them. And it'll be split into 4 parts, like the Harry Potter event was split into 3 parts. It'll be, each one is its own movie, so if you don't want to listen to us talk about Hocus Pocus, then you don't have to listen to us talk about Hocus Pocus.
Or, like, talk about Paranorman.
Yeah, if you don't want to listen to a specific one, you don't have to. But they're all there because these are movies that we love.
Yes,
so.
And they're Halloween-based.
Yes. So we're excited for that. That is our next event coming up.
Yes. We hope you listen to our Harry Potter event.
Yes, our Harry Potter event. Sorry for the,
Sorry for Sorcerer's Stone.
we got a little bit carried away.
Just a little bit. I mean, that was our first event, so it was a learning process.
Yes, it was. Now we know what to do.
Plus, we had 2 guests.
Yes.
So made it a little longer, but we're getting it better.
Yep. I think most of our events will probably last about an hour and a half for each episode.
Probably.
Okay. So, make sure you give those a listen, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye. She has a porg.
I do have a porg. He's so cute.